Alright everyone, Supreme Kami over here, so it is time to do the alteration review for our newest, over here, Gundam Wing Zero. So I think a lot of people, do let me know, are you guys like a big fan of this Wing Zero over here? Because like I personally think this is a pretty cool unit. Definitely packing some surprise stuff that I didn't think we're getting. So we did get a brand new EX skill. Now let me just quickly show this off. So we got a colony break over here. So me personally, I have not really finished the overall the TV version, so I don't know when the hero ever use this one, or Quattro used it. I believe that's what we were telling me. So yeah, I'm definitely missing the overall scene. So I am gonna be like, did this ever happen in anime? Probably did, but I don't know. But yeah, this is probably gonna be one of those like pretty cool cinematic scene that a lot of people do want to get. So I haven't really rolled for this week yet because I don't know if I really want it yet. So I actually did do some stat comparison with the other 7-star stuff over here, because currently we do have up to 5 shooting base part with suits with 7-star parts. So we got the Hagashiki, we got the second V, we got the Raphael Sinenju that I have not covered yet. So I'll cover that in maybe like in the next few days, definitely, because that one is going to be a build project, so I just want to see like, is it really worth getting to Sinenju in any means ways. But so that really makes a 5th iteration of the 7-star shooting base over here. But in terms of that, I feel like the P attribute for the Wing Zero is definitely unnecessarily in a way, because the only thing right now we're currently missing is a proper S attribute for a 7-star base shooting build over here. So we got 2 P attribute, 1 tech attribute, and build project doesn't really count because that is really not widely accessible to a lot of people. So I do want that to be like actual S attribute. I don't know why they're not making that, because I feel like S attribute currently for shooting base has been slapped on the most at the moment. So yeah, I think right now they really have been focusing on tech attribute by a lot. P attribute do have a little bit of a love from the Hakashiki, definitely, and even the Raphael itself. So I think maybe the next few weeks they'll definitely hop back into bringing us a lot more S attribute based shooting type unit. But that is definitely another story and for another day. So in terms of the Wing Zero, so I did like a quick comparison, and I am pretty satisfied with the overall stat. But there's only 5 units to really compare with, so there's not really like much room to see how it's like a stat differences, I will have to say. So but in terms of the Wing Zero, the head part is definitely a solid option to get. This one does not say has come with like the best stat. You know what? The head is actually just a little bit below the second V, and this one and then the second V is actually a top candidate currently for shooting base specifically. This one is offering a 25% initial charge boosting, so it's really powerful, right? I'm pretty sure this right here does. Is something that a lot of people may need in terms of like just trying to get their EX skill jump started into getting like an early start per se, and not waiting for the actual the whole of like the first time usage timer. So it's not bad for this one, but my one critique for this part definitely is going to be when attacking with beam. That part kind of like had a little bit drawback on me, specifically because like I feel like in many situations where you want to use this where you might have some physical type EX skill, not having that benefit actually hurts, because this one does go up to a 40% trade. So losing out on a big 40% shooting power boosting it actually hurts, So just with that factor in, I don't know how I really feel about this. This is probably like a skip in terms of alteration for me specifically. Let's say you want to use this in a arena for say 3-on-3 arena to be specific. You want to use the dual social army skill. Guess what? You can't use it because this one is specifically for beam. So I don't know. I feel like this little stuff that it kind of gets to me from time to time, because like we do see a lot of like shooting base specifically only wants to use beam and not physical. I mean, I get that because of like even the limit break specifically only boosts shooting base or beam base attacks. So it does kind of make sense, but it is kind of saddened to see that in a way. So with that being the case, I feel like the second V definitely takes the cake for this one over here. So if you guys do ever attain the second V head over here, I feel like this one is definitely the better option because this one is a 40% trade, but the downside for this one is that locking to use to a rifle category. So I mean that's not really like a biggest deal than this one over here because like literally you can't use any physical EXQ effectively for having this one over here. So yeah, just kind of my spiel on that one. The torso is definitely the top choice over here, the top price actually. This overall stat is kind of monstrous. The shot attack is definitely pretty high. Even melee defense is surprisingly high for whatever reason. And then shot defense is top the roof, breaking 9k. Like, oh my gosh, that is kind of crazy. But you know, this one definitely packs even more than that because this one comes with a colony break. So this one is actually not a bad, you know, effects that it's giving us. You know, I don't know why this one really needs a speed increase per se. I'd rather have this one being extra other gimmicks that they could probably implement. I don't know, maybe like even like a health recovery could have been better, I guess, but it may or may not fit the overall theme of the colony break, you know, whatever it's trying to do. But not bad, you know, raising by 49% with all these effects already, that is top notch. So this is definitely going to be a good part to alterate specifically for the EXQ to gain the S power property, or you simply want to use this, you know, the torso for the overall stat. I think it's definitely good. I think the overall stat wise for all these 5-7-star shooting base specifically, I think currently this one is like roughly about 600 of a margin from second. So second B currently is the lowest in terms of shot for torso, and then Wing Gundam right now is being the highest, breaking 10k. If you are gonna be using the 40% change gear, you are gonna be breaking 10k shot attack with everything maxed out over here. So it's not bad actually. So you just have to do a good sub slot to get like maybe like 40% trade from the Hakashiki, for example, or just some other one that will offer you like a 40% trade, namely maybe the Double Sky Mobius. So not a bad of an option. Definitely all traded and 6-star, 7-star immediately. In terms of the arm, I don't think the arm is anything too spectacular for say. The overall stat is pretty much a teeny tiny bit lower than, you know, the other one, I guess. You know, probably due to the fact that you are going to be splitting or just more or less like rearranging the stat to have a little bit of a resistance. So that's why they're more or less like redistributed to have a little bit lower. But the shot defense is definitely top to roof again, like breaking that, you know, 8,700 is definitely not a bad start right there. So definitely pretty good. But you know, the overallness of like the arm stack currently, 3 of them is definitely currently breaking 3k. So that's quite shocking to me. You know, the barbaric armor actually making up there is not even surprised because the barbaric armor actually does have some pretty bad, it's pretty high shot defense for a melee suit. So so yeah, this one is, you know, definitely a solid option for stat staking purposes, but you do need to pack in a good EX skill for say. So I mean the best arm to kind of sub slot in this one is definitely going to be maybe the Hot Scramble, the High New second form, as well as even the Raphael Gundam if you want to go that extra mile for say. So not bad, I guess, overall like, but the EX skill wise, I don't think it's anything worth the alteration, I guess. I don't know if this like pre-alteration is like a deep power. If that is the case, then yes, you need to alterate it in order to gain that property. But other than that, you know, the overall status is pretty, you know, just kind of there, not like anything too outlandishly good, for example. So I wouldn't really go out of my way to alterate arm, for example. So alright, speaking of the leg, so the leg is actually pretty decently enough, I guess. Melee defense is nearly the same as the shot attack for some reason. And in terms of overall leg, I can see that the beam resistance is actually quite good. Like throughout the part we have been looking at, I think it has been pretty like on board with each other, like pretty much like spot on. Defensive value is keeping that upper 8k, which is like quite surprised, I guess. You know, word tag wise on this one, I think the overall word tag of this Wing Zero is actually Ace exclusive Gundam type, high firepower as well as long range. So I feel like this one is prominent to using Gundam type instead of high firepower. So that's why later on we are going to see some trait that is going to require you to use some, I believe actually this require you to use high firepower in this one. Yeah, so this one can use both, so you can definitely say this is definitely not meant to be something to run all together. So if you are, let's say like a Gundam type user, this is definitely going to be something you might want to pick a few parts here and there that's going to work for you. And then if you are a high firepower fan, you know, definitely gonna be here and there some part that is good for you. This one, you know, overall is pretty good, but having maybe like that right there, I don't think we need this right here unless you are like a player just want to disturbing your enemy for say, like maybe like a good friendly match for example, right? You want to just kind of like play with your friend, having like a reviver there. It's definitely not a bad option per se, but is it really worth it for the alteration? I guess not really in a way, because it's I think we do have some pretty good standard part, or even a standard slash warfare that might have revive on them already. So I don't think it is. I don't think it's necessary to take in the extra effort to alterate something just to have revive on. I think revive is definitely something that's I don't want to call it like slap on for example, but I don't think it's something that's necessary. I think that is something that people uses to troll your enemy for example, or just make yourself a little bit stronger, harder to kind of take down, like stuff you would see in, let's say, the arena for example, right? So definitely not going to be something that is like common to use, I guess, in a general perspective. So probably not the best option to alterate for me personally, because I don't see that much gain. There's not like a huge gain besides the stat. Obviously, you know, like I'm purely looking at the perspective of the portrait. Is it really worth alterating? And then in terms of like upgrading this to a 7-star, is it really worth the extra mile, right? Because you're talking about a lot of resources being implemented to getting to a 7-star already. So is it really worth it? I don't really think so. So yeah, that's just kind of my opinion right there. So if you guys purely need it for the stat staking, kind of go ahead. But I would say we're still pretty new to the 7-star stuff. So eventually when they do start rolling out more 7-star parts, I think maybe then when the resources are a little bit more lenient, easier to get, then kind of go for it. But at this point in time, I think it's still pretty safe to say just kind of wait and just kind of hold on to your resources until at a later time. But in terms of the backpack is definitely a must alter and 7-star on the spot, because we are finally getting ourselves a 40% trade to both department, a shooting and EX skill. So this is actually not a bad option on the spot. So if you do have the backpack, please make sure to alter it, because this thing right here is going to be extremely powerful. So yeah, it's not bad over here. So stat wise, it's definitely looking pretty good. Currently it's going to be placed rank 1 amongst the 7-star part over here, so pretty good overall. So not going to be too much to talk about. But in terms of moving down to the weaponries over here, I think this is where we're going to see a little bit of a disappointment. So this one is only going to be when you are fighting type advantage. That is when you are getting that EX skill power boosting. So that's kind of like, yeah. So whenever you do fight against type disadvantage, I don't think you'll ever see this proctor. And then this one lock into specifically the torso part is kind of like a selfish move that it's trying to do. I do kind of wish this is like a little bit more in generalized. Maybe all my EX skill can get that benefit. But that's the unfortunate part. So I don't see too much purpose of alterating the beam saber either. So yeah, war attack wise, having a long range may not be the best option per se. I know that we have been getting more and more long range type, you know, tags and all that, but it's still not as viable, and it's not really that much reliable in a way. I don't know about the reliability factor, but just not something common to see. Like, you know, it may be good. Maybe there are people that are running the long range for say, but me personally, I still feel like it's more or less like a secondary option instead of like a primary option. Like your traditional, like, oh, Gundam type, high firepower commander and ace exclusive though. So yeah, it's not bad for say, but just having lock into torso and having to use it on the type advantage is kind of like sad. So yeah. Alright, moving on to the weaponry, the shooting based weaponry. We do have ourselves another rolling buster. So yeah, so this is gonna be our 4th one over here. So this one being the 3rd iteration of, you know, the all tradable at the moment. So I don't see too much potential specifically for the overall stat. This one being a long category or long rifle category does have a hindrance in terms of subslotting, because I don't recall having any good, let's say, long rifle type portraits, or long rifle weaponry has some good portraits. So we are going to be using this one purely for the stat staking as well. I don't see what kind of subslot you can offer this one to, so that's probably going to be a problem. That is going to be like the problem looking forward to this over here. So this is going to be your generic rolling bust over here. So your generic A plus Pierce and B plus Pierce and maxed out over here. Even at base, you are still looking at B power, so that is it's gonna hit like a truck. So definitely a good, like, if you do have any iteration of the Wing Zero lineup and does have a rolling buster, do alterate it if you guys do ever get the L badges, because it is definitely going to help you guys by a long shot in the arena specifically, so why not? Okay, low battery again. Moving on to the couplet or the twin rivals over here. Looking at the same stat again, so not going to be anything too like, oh my gosh, like have I seen this before? This one is definitely not a bad of an option for say, but lucky to a specific power type is kind of like a here and there. This one is when buff this, so prior to buffing you won't even get this over here, so it's not, I wouldn't call this like the best option possible, but definitely something to just kind of hold off until now. I don't see like this one too beneficial at the moment. I don't know, maybe look out for something that gives you those 40% trait, maybe, you know, those are probably something to kind of hunt for, I guess. This one being a specific one is like to P attribute may not be the best case scenario, and you know, this one being a dual dual rival type over here, so in terms of finding good sub slot, that can be a very hard thing as well. So you know, probably not going to be like the best bet to kind of invest into, but you know, I think the most intriguing part of the set for me personally is definitely going to be the shield. I'm not talking about specifically for the overall stat, because I think prior to alteration, or excuse me, prior to 6-star, I think my intuition for the shield is maybe around what 5 or 2,000 to 3,000 base, or max out 6 stars and rank marks. And then in terms of defensive, I see this one being closing into like a 7k digit, or it's just a teeny tiny bit lower. So not a bad shield at all, but I do say that in terms of art, like what we have currently, I think with a proper 7-star, I think it should be able to compete with the stat only. But in terms of the portrait, this is a first time, you know, this is like literally the first time they packed double EXQ buffing and stuff here, so this makes this shield innately extremely powerful. But I feel like the one downside is actually going to be the second portrait condition. After 8 seconds elapsed, then you can gain this over here. So this is not going to be something you would take into arena at all, because of the fact that you want to clear your match as fast as possible. So I feel like 8 seconds is a tremendously killing off like any chance of using arena. So kind of sad, unfortunately, but this is definitely still a good option if you want to use it specifically on, let's say, some other PvE content, or even let's say in limited time multiplayer. I think that is going to be something you can take advantage of. Like max out, you are getting a total of 52%, so this is absurd to the spot. So in terms of Wing Zero, I feel like it does bring a lot to the table, you know, in terms of some brand new stuff like shield wise over here. And the torso is definitely a solid option. The back, forgot about the backpack, definitely a top tier choices at the moment. Even the head, I guess the head is still a good option because of the fact that you are getting some initial charge boosting, which I think a lot of people may need it. So yeah, so overall I am pretty satisfied with the Wing Zero over here. It's not like it's anything like, I wouldn't call it anything groundbreaking, but this offers some stuff that we have not really seen before, so it's pretty good. Definitely satisfied, and I can't wait to actually summon on it, because it's going to be one of those banners where you can do this up to 3 times. So I would actually, I don't know, maybe I'll still wait until Thursday to see if we are going to get anything else, I guess. But other than that, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you guys can definitely still hold up into summoning, because you guys do know that these units will be back into they will be put back into those general big banners where you can summon for a lot of Sokai unit. And you know, there are some occasional times they do pack in like a, you know, a pick tickets, or even like an Alteration L badges and all that for exchangeable. So I think that is definitely the time to strike. But at this point in time, I think it's still best to just kind of hold up and see what else is out there before even like kind of jump the gun, I guess. So but with that being said, that is going to be pretty much it, and I'll catch you guys all on the next one.